Hey, why are kittens considered so deviant? And does this secretly mean that Data is the kinkiest guy in Starfleet? Well, that would explain a few things. Hello, geeks, freaks, and all those unique. This is Emcee Frodis. We're reviewing another episode of Lower Decks, Room for Growth. So let's get right into this week's episode. Right off the bat, I want to talk about the B-plot, and this is because I think it's the weaker part of the episode, and I don't really have a lot to say about it. While I do love Billups breaking down, because Billups is low-key one of my favorite characters, I don't love this plot. First of all, while it's totally truthful that engineers are cool about working all the time, even when they're on vacation, this really isn't new ground for Trek, not being able to get people to relax. And I don't love the people need to be forced to take vacation trope, because it's a mindset we really need to break in real life. I think that there's such a nice bonding between the trio and the A-plot, it would have been nice for Rutherford to be there as well. And in that plot, we get Mariner, Boimler, and Tendi crawling through the bowels of the ship. And it's not escaping from some space pirates. They don't need to reboot the warp core. They're trying to cheat their way into getting better room assignments, tired of having to sleep in the corridors of the ship. Now, I always thought the sleeping in corridors was a really silly thing. I mean, I know the Cerritos isn't the nicest of ships, but can't you at least have privacy screens like Uhura gets in Strange New Worlds? One of the things I'm finding more and more as we go along in Lower Decks is that it seems like despite the Federation not allowing planets with a caste system into the Federation, Starfleet totally has a caste system. Because there's no reason why the Cerritos characters should be treated worse than the people on the Enterprise. But you know, that's just another log on the I don't think the Federation is all that great fire. There were so many great moments when the trio were going through the ship. The hallucination sequence, the return of bold Boimler, and of course the absolutely epic holodeck adventure of Diane and Biggs. Now, are those holodeck names? I actually don't think they are, because Shax was trying to be serious at the time he called her Diane. I also think there's a bit of brilliance calling Tahana Diane, because it's so close to Diana, and she is basically a cat version of Dr. Pulaski. Dr. Perlasky. This sequence is just so good. Cards on the table, Anna and Shax are my second favorite Star Trek couple. No points for guessing who my favorite is. And it's nice to have reference to Shax's death, and it's something that still haunts him. And playing bank robber in the holodeck with the safety off and then fucking in front of the hostages. I didn't need to know that, but I actually really did need to know that. But the crux of the episode is the trio getting through the ship, and all three of them have their moments to shine. Tendi saves Mariner and Boimler from their hallucinations. Mariner saves Boimler in the deflector shield generator. And even though we're expecting him to screw up, in the end it's actually bold Boimler who gets them across the finish line. None of these characters would have been able to get as far as they did without the others. And that brings up the major point of the episode, and I'm actually going to deep dive a bit. While none of these characters would have been able to get as far as they did without the others, in the end, they were actually held back by one another. No one puts their name into the lottery because they don't think they can stay together. They don't take the time to think that, yes, they could stay together, they just have to share the room. They choose to remain in the lower decks as long as they can be together. I think this is going to be a running storyline throughout this season. So many of the episodes have been about the three characters working together, while another character peels off for a story of their own. We're also seeing strong parallels in our lower deckers with senior officers. Tendi with T'Ana, Rutherford with Billups, Mariner with Ransom. I think it's only a matter of time before we get Boimler matched with a senior officer, and I think it's going to be Freeman. Our characters are advancing in their jobs. Mariner even points out it's only a matter of time before Tendi becomes bridge crew. And I think that Mariner is wrong and bold Boimler is actually the right choice for him. It's going to be what brings him up to rise out of the lower decks. Rutherford is already taking a very commanding role within the engineering crew. I think his promotion is only a matter of time. And I think the whole season we're seeing that Mariner is opening herself up more to other people, and that's what's making her willing to work with others, which will be what brings her up. All of this is making them the officers they need to be to become senior staff. But they're not going to be able to do this together. They'll be promoted individually. Maybe they won't even stay on the Cerritos. We already saw how Mariner reacted to Boimler taking the promotion on the Titan. What's going to happen if everyone else ends up leaving her? Boy, that's a really sad note to end out on. And one that has little to do with this episode. Still, I think I'm right. I won't be surprised at all if the end of this season has our lower deckers having to face splitting up. But this episode was great. I think this is easily the best of the season so far. I enjoyed it from start to finish. I'm enjoying this season. I don't think I've rated anything below an 8 out of 10. It's just a matter of small degrees as to which ones are better. Lower Decks is such a comfort show for me, and I find it hard to dislike any episode. So comment down below with your thoughts on Lower Decks Room for Growth. If you like my videos, subscribe to my channel. I do videos about Star Trek, Star Wars, and lots of other geeky things. If you want to support me, please visit my Patreon. You can also buy me a coffee, or you can go to my Redbubble and TeePublic and buy my geeky graphic designs. You can find me on all of those platforms under Emcee Frodis. So until next time, live long, and may the Force be with you.